So, Lindsay, the Monty Williams thing. Yes, we know it's a lot of money.
Right.
Yes, we know it's a lot of years. That's how business works. You have to make somebody make a choice. They did. They got their guy. I'm not interested in that breakdown. We know what those numbers are. I am interested in this. I kind of gave everybody my interpretation of what Monty Williams will do, especially offensively, for the guards, the pick and roll. I gave the numbers. You know, one of the big stats where the Phoenix Suns were 5th in points per game off the pick and roll by the roller, i.e. DeAndre Ayton. Chris Paul. Monty Williams' offense, the buzz phrase was the half-second offense.
Yep.
That was the buzz phrase.
Yep.
My interpretation of that from what I've seen, Lindsay, is this. And you tell me you're on, you're full of ish, somewhere in the middle. The half-second offense, the pace within a possession will pick up. Not necessarily more possessions, more points. Not from that angle. When you're within a possession, the speed of that possession will increase. The decision-making will increase.
Right.
Thereby, ball movement will increase. The Pistons were one of the worst in the league at ball movement last year. A lot of dribble, go create a shot. Am I on base with that? Is that the biggest difference we're going to see? Half-second, quick decisions, the pace within a possession will change.
You're on point because that's exactly what Monty wants. He incorporated the half-second, I think, solely in Phoenix because of, you know, the way Chris Paul plays. You know, Chris Paul is a ball-dominant guard, right? And when you got a scorer like Booker, and you got Aiden and you got KD, then we need quick decisions. We need everybody to spread that ball as fast as possible to give these guys ample opportunities to make plays, right?
Right.
I think that'll happen here with young guys learning. You know, I don't hold it. I don't sit here and try to dissect the defense by, you know, over dribbling. It's catch, shot. If I don't have shot, pass or make a play. And I think that'll speed things up. And it'll help those guys adjust their mentality to how we play. And I think we'll be more efficient that way. I think we're capable of scoring. We got enough weapons. And once the young guys get acclimated with what Monty has incorporated and acclimated with one another because they haven't really played together a lot.
Right.
It'll be different. It'll look totally different, and I think it'll be more efficient.
In the WoodwardSports.com chat thread, Brandon says Detroit's defense will get exposed if they play fast. The faster a team plays, the harder it is for that team to defend. And Brandon, it's not fast like you're thinking.
No.
Like it's not get a shot up in 10 seconds. Well, it's faster within the possessions will remain about the same. There may be a few more, but they'll remain about the same. That's what I'm trying to drive home to everybody. Like when I say half-second play fast, not, you know, get a shot up,
It's not come down jacking threes. It's not that. And people misconstrue playing fast with we're just coming down shooting. That's not what that means. And plus, even if your pace of play is fast, the Warriors have always been top 5 in pace of play. But the years they won the championships, what was the key determining factor in them winning the championship? They were top 10 in defense.
Right.
So it doesn't matter pace of play. You can still play fast and defend. Mm-hmm. That doesn't matter. You know, it's about, and we'll see it with Monty. Monty will have definitive defensive structure. There'll be no guessing of what we do defensively.
And that's it, Lindsay. All right, give me the geeky stuff. Sports talk for one. Neil in Washington Township wants to know. We've heard about the offense. We've heard about the buzz phrases and all that kind of stuff. Explain what Monty Williams will do defensively, maybe differently than what Pistons fans have seen.
Well, defensively, like if you watch Phoenix play, of course, you know on side pick and rolls, they'll down all the screens, which is force them baseline. They'll force everything baseline. They'll funnel them to the bigs. You know, you may get late switches. Like our rule was always under 6 seconds we switch, but you're still switching in a down, and which gives the big. You know, you got to be able to keep that guy in front of you for 5 seconds. Which is doable with the bigs that we have.
Right.
You'll see things like that. You won't see so much of the. I think we had a helter-skelter defensive style last year where there were switches, there were, you know, different coverages. You'll see the same consistency everywhere on the floor, and that's how you become a great continuity defensive team. And we've seen that with Monty's teams everywhere he's been.
Right.
And that won't change. I think that'll get better. And that's why I think, as a whole, you know, I don't know if the Pistons can do what the Miami Heat did, but I'm looking for them to be fighting to get an 8th seed or a 7th seed with all the changes that is going on.
And Lindsey, look, it's apparent. I think it's apparent because it always comes back to that. And in the chat, we ultimately get those questions. None of this matters if they don't defend.
Right.
But in the pantheon of basketball, and we've seen this before for the old heads that remember the bad boys coming up, the defensive side of the ball is always the last to come because in this league, you have to know how to defend.
Right.
And how do you get to know how to do something? You got to be out there and you got to take it. It is the last thing to come. It's just the way that is. The scores are too great. The offenses are too intricate. The guys are too talented. You know, it is that where this will be a work in process.
No doubt. But the thing is, people, you know, have to understand offenses are always ahead of defenses, especially in the beginning of seasons. Your offenses will always be ahead of your defense. That's just it's just a thing that happens because everybody wants to play offense.
No one's in the gym without Lindsey.
Nobody works on defense.
Shoot me straight.
Nobody's
in the gym
working
in July.
On defensive slides. It doesn't happen, people.
Your trainer's not there with the whistle. Slide. Now Russell Wilson's working on slides, but that's different. He's goated. But no, you're not doing it.
I was considered a great defender.
Right. Not to Sam Flannel, but yes, in basketball circles, you were considered a great defender.
I cannot tell you one time in the offseason that I worked on defense because I didn't do it. Not once. Not once.
Thousands of shots.
And look, in pickup games, I rarely defended. I was just like, hey, let him score. I mean, hey, who cares?
I'm going to score.
Let me get the ball. You know, that was, I'm not guarding nobody. Now, season starts, I'm in your chest. 94-50, I'm in your chest. Off season, man, I'm in the gym getting jumpers up, working on my hand, making moves. I'm not doing any defensive drills in the summer. So that doesn't happen. And that's why offense will always be ahead of defense.
Guys, we went to the source and gave it to you, man. Like, this is, you know, you guys know the story with Lindsey. Like, regarded as a great defensive player. Didn't work on it. Self-admitted, just here. Breaking news, Woodward Sports. I never worked on defense. Well, then you were just blessed by God, I guess, Lindsey. Like that is it. Nobody wants to do it.
Nope.
They don't. WoodwardSports.com, chat thread, DNCENT. Neil, who's almost guaranteed to not be here next year? I have my list, but it might not be the same as others. Look, if Bojan doesn't get moved before the draft, he'll be here up until the trade deadline. Situations matter. Situationally dependent. If they're in a position where they can do something and the return of being in a spot to be in the mix outweighs the return they would get for Bojan,
right,
then they'll keep him. But that's a hard sell, Lindsey. If you're going to sell me right now, that's a hard sell to me to say, hey, you're talking about in your world there where you're saying you're fighting for a 7 seed. Now that's different. Then Bojan will be here. But if you're not, he won't. I think. That's just me. I'm not the GM or anything like that.
Right.
Because he's an expiring veteran that has a skill set that's an upper echelon skill set in this league. Every time he shoots the ball, I think it's going in.
No doubt.
Every time.
No doubt. I mean, he's definitely a commodity in today's NBA, and I'm sure teams like, you know, the Lakers, teams that are trying to get over the top, could use another shooter. You know, you got LeBron, you got AD, you want floor spacers. You want people that can knock down shots, and that's a guy that can do it. So he is a hot commodity, especially on contending teams, I would think.
Right.
You know?
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Chuck wants to know. Neil, what would Lindsey Hunter know about basketball? We have the expert Sam Flannel here to explain it all to us. D. Smitty asked, Lindsey, and this is a great question, is there a future as a defender for Killian Hayes in this league?
I think so, because I think he can do it. I've watched him, and there were nights when he really showed that he could defend. You know, it's just a matter of him having that mentality, knowing that the way for me to impact this game, because, you know, you have guys in front of you that are going to play, you know, a lot of the minutes, and they're going to do a lot of the offensive, they're going to carry a lot of the offensive load. You know, you have to find a way to impact the game and impact your team. And I think it'll make him better if he took that mindset of him, because I think he could be a really, really good backup.
Is Killian one of those guys that would take on a whole new identity in a Phoenix or in playing for the Lakers, or somebody, you know, like a championship, in the discussion for a championship level team, in that you can mix and match him, you can use him at timeouts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I get what you're saying.
Somebody that, as you talked about, get in your chest, get on your hip.
I think he could do that. I think, you know, it's just a matter of, like I said, is he willing to accept that role, and is he willing to put his all into being one of those guys? You know, and people don't understand, those guys make a lot of money. You know, we've watched PJ Tucker exhaust his contracts every year because he can defend and make a corner three occasionally. You know, but he defends. That's all he does. You know.
Here's one more question. This is kind of becoming like a de facto Ask Lindsay thing, which we'll do at the end of the show, by the way. Real quick, this will be the last one on it. Neil, can you ask Lindsay, are modern NBA players really worse mid-range shooters and lazier on defense? And Lindsay, like, that one bothers me, like when people ask, are they lazier on defense? And I would say no, because the scorers are so much more refined and so much more athletic. They're the most athletic they've ever been, the scorers, like the great ones.
Right. People don't understand, like,
and they can't hand check anymore.
What's that?
You can't hand check anymore on defense.
Right, you can't touch, you can't put your hands on people. It's the game now is built to help offensive players.
Like the NFL.
Right.
It's almost like the NFL.
Yes, it's built to help the offense have the advantage. So when you have gifted offensive players, you know, man, it's hard. Like, people wonder why these guys are putting up astronomical numbers. Dude, you can't. You get out on an island with Devin Booker, and you think you're going to stop him
without being able to touch him?
You're not. It's over. You know, you got a pick and roll with Jokic and Murray. What are your chances of stopping that?
Yeah.
Very, very hard.
Especially when Jokic gets that inside step, it's already over. You may as well just put 2 points on the board and go back down.
Or 3, because if Murray comes off and you don't step up, boom. You know?
That's it. That's all, man.